with Elma, Linda, and Kimberly, and our special guest I'm going to introduce in a few minutes. But isn't she beautiful?
Yes. Oh my God.
But anyway, we welcome you to the Talk of Life Talk Show with Elma. This is a Christian-based talk show, and we love for you to come on the show. But remember, it is a Christian-based talk show. You will not be able to come on and try to change us to any other religion. It will not work because we have a relationship with Christ. And so we invite you to tune in every Monday at 8 p.m. on the Talk of Life Talk Show with Elma, Linda, and Kimberly. So tonight, our scripture is, as I always like to read, being confident of this very thing, that he which begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. And that is Philippians 1:6. And then I have a motivational saying, in order to succeed, you must first believe that you can. And the word says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So tonight we're blessed to have Penella Thompson with us. And I get so excited when we have guests on the show. It just makes me want to cry sometimes. But anyway, we're blessed to have Penella Thompson, and she goes by Miss Penny. Mm-hmm. Hi, Miss Penny.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello.
I love that necklace. I love the earrings. Those are so beautiful. And that blue dress and the shoe. You are just gorgeous.
Thank you.
You know that? Isn't she beautiful?
Yes, she is.
Isn't she lovely?
God's grace.
God's grace. I love it. And we always love to have beautiful women on the show to enhance us, okay?
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
so tonight we're going to see what is her passion. What drives her? What goes on into the life of Miss Penny? How did you get from A to Z? What's going on? And she's in this book called Love Life and Lesson Learned. Mm-hmm. So we're going to hear some about the lesson that she experienced and what she learned from it. It is an awesome brief introduction. And I know you're going to be writing another book later on. But this is a good introduction of Miss Penella Thompson. And she started off with Single Life, the Discovery Zone. And when I was reading that, the first thing, y'all remember the Discovery Zone? Remember the Discovery Zone where you take your kids? Oh, you probably don't remember. But anyway, but you know, I used to take my kids to Discovery Zone, and we would go over there and play, and they would discover new things, and they would just have a ball, you know. But now it's no longer Discovery Zone. I think it's whatever, that little mouse or whatever.
Chuck
E. Cheese now.
Chuck E. Cheese.
But anyway, when I saw that, I started laughing. So we got to get into her Discovery Zone. But she started it off with ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and it will be open to you. For everyone who asks, receive, and he who seeks, find, and to him who knocks, it will be open. Matthew 7, as verse 7 and 8. Okay? So she started off with saying, what would I want to know as a single person? And this is a question that she's going to talk about because she was single, then married, then divorced, and then married again. And I'm gonna let her tell who she did this all with, you all. I mean, this is something that's hot off the press. Single, married, divorced, and then married. Bam, 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 bam. And you'll be surprised who this person was that this happened with. Okay, Miss Penny, let's see here. You said in here that a lot of people might ask you, why are you talking to us? And you're married, but you were single. All of us were single at one time. So we can still give advice to single people. So how did you get started? What was your passion? How did you get to single, married, divorced, and then married?
So the preface for me laying some of my life out there is one of my girlfriends came to me and asked me to collaborate with her on the book. Mm-hmm. And she told me it was through singles. It was about singles. And so I said, well, I don't know, because usually when I go and speak, people will ask that question. Well, you know, you're married.
Right,
you know, you can't identify with what we're going through because you got a man.
That's right. So how you gonna tell me I'm a single person how to control sex and all this when you at home with a man?
Exactly. So that was the preface for me putting that out there to say,
I like that.
I have been married.
Right.
I have been single.
Right.
I've been single with kids.
Right.
And then I have remarried.
Right.
So I remarried the same man.
What? I'm like that commercial. What?
I remarried the same man.
All these fish in the sea. You went
We
to the
were
same
high
one?
school sweethearts.
What?
And we married.
While
And
y'all
we-
was in high school or right before, after
We
graduation?
married after graduation and I started college. I started college and he was ready to get married. And I was like, well, I would like to finish school. My girlfriends want me to finish school with them. We already got our plan made out. And so he was ready to get married and settle down and have the kids and all of that. So I chose him.
Okay.
Went back to college later, but I chose him. But as I was praying about what to write about, how much to share, you know, who would need to hear what I had to say, God gave me that single life and the discovery zone.
Wow.
And what he wants the singles and really any of us to know is that when you start out with him first and you're seeking him and becoming that whole person,
Yes.
a lot of people would say, and it's a myth to say, you know, it takes 50-50, you know, when you get married. It's not 50-50.
Okay.
It's 100-100. You come into the marriage or the relationship as a whole person and you meet up with a whole person and then you become as one.
Okay.
And so, of course, us, like everyone else, we didn't. We came in with baggage from other relationships and everything. And so not planning, not getting any counseling, any coaches, any mentors, you know, we
just get
failed.
married.
Yeah, we didn't plan, so we planned to fail. Is what happened. And after being, you know, single with kids and trying to make it and getting into my career and all of this, we still had not found that person. And so he was still in my life, you know, with the birthdays and the family gatherings. Him and my sister were still
close. So how long were you all married before
we were married? We stayed married about 16 years and then we divorced.
Get out of here. 16 years you all was married.
And then we divorced.
Okay. And how many
We
children
stayed
did you
divorced.
have
Well,
during the 16 years? Okay, you had the two children
we
during
had
the
the two
divorce.
children.
Before the divorce, okay.
I was very fertile, so they were like
Well, girl,
1,
that's
2.
good. 2 kids in 16 years.
Yeah, they was like, boom.
But I know you said here, and I know none are going to be probably happy to hear this here. You said you was born in a race-led era in Arkansas.
Yes.
She's from Arkansas, too.
Well, I was born in Stamps, Arkansas.
Have you heard of
So-
Sam?
Never had her
Okay.
stamp. It's probably, I would say, about 45 minutes from Texarkana.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So you were close to the Texarkana side.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right.
Okay. And
yeah,
so
that's-
then you said that to say life was challenging for a black family living in Arkansas is an understatement.
Yeah.
You said my mother was a single parent and she was unable to find adequate work. So you all went through all that, but you also said that your mother gave you everything.
She did.
So how many children was it? In your,
In my family, I have a sister.
okay.
So my mother married and
Okay.
then she had a child. So it was
Okay.
2 of us.
Okay.
Okay.
So then you ended up going, you love to go back to be with your grandmother and stuff, you
so
said.
I love to go home with my grandmother and get that home cooking and all of that from my aunts and, you know, play with my cousins and things like that. Because for growing up, my sister and I are 8 years apart. So I really kind of grew up as the only child.
Yeah.
So when school was out, then I would go home and be with my cousins.
So you were the oldest, right?
Yes, I'm the
you
oldest.
So you would go home and be with the cousin. And they made you didn't feel like you was the new kid on the block.
Yeah.
When you got back to Stamps, Arkansas, because they said, oh, she's from Texas.
It's, you know, she's a little different. She's a little different. She's from Texas. She don't act like us. You know.
How did
Yeah.
you feel when they said that?
It's sometimes as a kid, it kind of bothered me because I kind of said, well, I'm just like them, but they think I'm different. So,
But I grew up in Stamp, Arkansas with you all.
know.
I just left
yeah,
and came back.
and came back. But to them, it was different.
Yeah, because you come from the big state of Texas.
So they consider Texas or Fort Worth as being the big city.
Right.
And then Stamps is more like a country town.
Oh, okay.
So that was the difference.
Yeah, so Linda experienced that too. And where are you from, Linda?
Eudora.
Have you heard of Eudora, Arkansas?
It's on Louisiana line.
Okay.
She was close to the Louisiana line. She used to pick
Okay.
cotton too
Okay.
and everything.
Okay.
Okay, so after I graduated from high school, I went straight off to college. And you, what college did you attend?
Well, I attended TCJC at that time.
Okay.
It's TCC now. And then I went to Northwood University in Cedar Hill. And so I'm what I call a lifelong learner. So I'm always in school.
yeah.
I'm always
yeah.
taking classes and training. And because I am a life coach as well, it's always good to go and enhance
more.
my skills.
So what do you do with your life coach? I hear that all the time. So what do you do with your
So
life
life coach is when a person is either, say, if I had have done that early in my marriage, got someone to help when you're stuck or
Right.
you're dealing with issues, then this person helps guide you
Oh, okay.
to better.
So whatever you're going through in life,
Yeah, whatever you're going
if I'm
through in
going
life.
through a problem, I can come to you and you can help me like Lifetime.
Yeah,
No, I'm just playing.
kind of, sort of.
You watch the
sorta.
Lifetime movies and
Yeah.
you're like, gosh, is this really relating
It's
to life?
really
And you find out that a lot of those Lifetime movies are dealing with life experiences that people are going
They
through.
are.
So I can see what you said, life coach. So do you like doing that though, life
I do.
coach? You
I
still do
love
that
helping
now?
people. Yes, I do. I am now taking more classes with COVID and
yeah.
helping people through trauma.
Okay.
So just kind of revamping my skills there to be more of a servant, to be able to help people.
Are you doing a lot of COVID people now or?
Well, yes and no. Some people are still afraid
Yeah.
of coming to a coach or coming to a counselor or a therapist, especially in our communities,
Right.
African American, Hispanic communities. They don't always look to outside to get
Right.
help.
Yeah, a lot of times we don't. We don't
Yeah.
even want to go see what is it, psychiatrists or
Right.
counseling
Counseling
and stuff
see,
like that.
I've taken Christian counseling as well because for me, I always lead with the word.
Yeah.
The Holy Spirit guides me, and
Yes.
then I can help guide you.
Yeah, I took that too. Matter of fact, Linda and I both took one about been almost a year, not going into a year, and I learned a lot from that.
It's really good, and it helps you help yourself as well.
And then they give you a little book. They gave us a book that you can go and look at different scriptures or what you're going through and all of that. And it's really helpful because when people come and say, well, Miss Kirkwood, I'm going through teenage pregnancy. What I do? And I pull my little book out and I look at the scriptures and I listen to them and talk to them and all that. Do you get a lot of that with the life coach, with the teenagers?
I have not gone into the teenage field. I haven't had a lot of clients for that, mostly because my relationship with my husband, I get a lot of relationship coach class clients that want to help with their marriage, help keep it together, or after they have divorced, how did I make it through, those single years? So those are mostly my clients, but I'm open. For me, I want to see women win.
Good.
I'm all about girl power.
I love it.
And so the younger that we can get them and reach them and let them know that they are valued, that they matter.
And they need that.
That, God is their head.
Yes.
And he's the king and he owns everything. So there's nothing impossible for them.
That's
So
right. And they need
as
to hear
soon as
that too.
they can get that,
Right.
then the better off they're going to be.
So when you go out to speak to these single people, how do you reach them? I mean,
Usually people will reach out to me
Okay.
as far as like church or different organizations. And for me, once I get the call, again, I'm Christian. So I pray on it. And,
Right.
and then as I get around the conference or, whatever's going on, I meet them and kind of see what their needs are.
That's good.
And God always puts on my heart what to say.
what to say
It's
to
not
them?
really that I make,
That's
that I
good.
do it. I mean, I study and I know what statistics says and I have all of that.
Yes.
But when I speak from my heart and whatever God gives me, that's
And
the
that's
message I
awesome.
give them.
And I noticed in the book you said that nobody in my immediate family had ever gone to college. So you the first one?
Right. So since then, my daughter, my kids and stuff have gone. But at the time, my mother, my father, my aunts, my grandmother, none of them had, had any formal education. They had just what I would call just regular jobs. Like my grandmother was a cook. My aunts was a cook. That those are the kind of jobs that they got. So
Yeah, cooking or teaching. Back then it was cooking.
exactly. So
or
they
teaching.
didn't go to school, so they didn't teach. So or cleaning somebody else's
cleaning
house.
somebody's house.
And
That's
so
true.
those were, they wanted me to do well, but they didn't know how. They didn't have the
That's
skills and the resources to help guide or help navigate me.
So who said let's go to college?
My friends that I hung around with. My
These were the
friends.
friends that said, "Are you crazy? You're gonna get married?"
Well, they wanted to party. They wanted to
they were
party
saying
and
that.
hang
They
out.
said, "Are you crazy?"
They
It
wanted
was
to
so
get
funny
away.
because you went off to school and you said in here, however, traveling to a destination without a plan or a proper preparation is a perfect recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
For me, that was exactly what I was, a complete disaster.
Wow.
I made the same mistakes that young people fresh out of high school often make. My first year of college, my high school sweetheart, my now husband, asked me to marry him.
Yeah.
Of course, I said yes.
Uh-huh.
I was young and naive to the effect of marrying before the two of us was ready. So you didn't think you was ready.
Right.
And then here your friend said, my close friend said, "Are you crazy? It's our time to be wild and free." Tell him to wait because we got our whole lives ahead of us and you have plenty of time to get married. But you didn't listen to them.
Listen, I followed my heart.
Isn't that beautiful?
I followed my heart.
So you was probably about what, 17 or 18?
18.
18.
What did your parents say?
Well, because that's really what
was-
my family had done. They didn't know about going off
Off to college
They
and-
didn't. They knew it was expensive, and they didn't have the money to
Right.
send me.
Right.
So if I loved him, they figured, well, if we loved each other and we went to work, that we could make it work.
Right. Right.
But the friend said you was crazy.
Yeah, because they want to party.
Are they still part?
They want to party. They wanted to go to college, yeah, but then they wanted to. They didn't want to break our bond.
Right.
And then I was,
Yeah.
of course, everybody got married and,
Right.
had kids and stuff, but I was the first one out of the group and we had done everything together. So
Wow.
they felt like I was leaving them.
Oh,
Were they
yeah.
at your wedding?
Yeah, they were at the wedding.
Oh, okay.
So they was happy? They went on and accepted,
Yeah, they accepted it. They accepted it
because they love you and they want you to be happy, but they still want to party and go out. Would you like the ringleader or something?
Not really.
So
Are your parents still alive?
Yes.
that's awesome.
And they living in Arkansas? Or they?
No, they're here.
Oh, they here in Fort
Now,
Worth.
see, my mom and my father did not marry.
Oh, okay.
So my mom, she married someone else, and my biological father married someone else. But
Oh,
they
okay.
both live here in Fort Worth.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, they're in their 80s.
Oh, that's a nice age.
Okay, so you said in here that y'all got married and you was a June bride. So you was
All right.
excited about that. She was a June bride and then she had to learn how to be a wife,
Yeah.
parent, all of this good stuff.
Yeah.
And she said, I had to learn so many new things about not only being a wife, but maintaining a household, like keeping a tight house schedule, chores and cleaning, budgeting, and still making time for us.
Yeah.
Was it hard?
That was hard.
That was hard.
You didn't get
That was
pregnant
hard.
right away, did you?
I did.
Oh, okay. And it was even harder.
That was hard.
right.
And even my children are 22 months apart. So
Oh, okay.
I had another one. So that was, to me, it was almost like I had twins because they were still little,
Yeah, right.
you know.
Right.
And then for me, being almost really growing up as that age difference between my sister and I, you know, I didn't have all those chores to do. I didn't know how to run a house.
Right.
I didn't know how to be
Yeah.
a mother. I didn't know how to be a wife.
Right.
So that's why I believe God gave me the title of the Discovery Zone.
Yeah.
Because when
Still
you are
discovering.
single,
Discovery.
Right.
that is the time that you discover yourself.
Right.
What you like, what you don't like. It helps you to put a plan in action. Because if you don't plan, the Bible tells us when we don't have a plan,
That's
we
right.
fail.
Right.
And he
So-
gives us a plan.
Yeah, he gives us a
Yeah.
plan, but if we don't
follow
know it or don't follow it, then we fail.
Right.
So in essence, that's what we did. We hung in there long enough
You could,
to kind of,
yeah.
you know, but then, you know, it was just too much. We had bankrupt each other. And if we had
Wow.
just reached out and got some counseling, got some help, we could have saved that and stayed together those years.
But you wanted to stay together, and you talked about how he worked on his job and you worked on your job, and you put your college on hold, and you all decided that. And then you said, well, my husband started his career at a meat company. He decided to continue with college, going part-time and taking evening classes. So this was hard on you
Yeah,
all.
so it was really hard.
And y'all was
Because we
still
didn't
getting to know each other.
Exactly.
Y'all was still young. You probably hadn't even really made it into your 20s because you still trying to discover each other. And then what about your parents? Were they in and out your business at the same time that you have your...
Not really.
Not really?
No, not really.
So did you talk about it?
I didn't.
You kept it in between you and him.
I think I mentioned that in there too. I think we was just embarrassed to
Yes,
let
you said
people
that.
know that we were struggling and we didn't know how. You know, we know that we wanted to be together, but we didn't know how to make a marriage work. And we didn't really, like, nobody talked about anything. So you didn't have any tools to work with.
Right.
So did you start disliking him? I mean, because he's going to college, and that's something that you wanted to do, but you had to stay at home, you know, take care. In other words, you had to nurture the kids
Yeah.
while he's at work, and then he go to school. And when he come home, he probably tired, so he's expecting a meal on the table, and then, you know.
Yeah.
So did you get
Yeah.
animosity towards him?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes.
I can be transparent and say,
Yes.
because for me, I was really a spoiled brat.
Right.
Right.
I was used to having everything my way.
Right.
I was not used to working for things.
Right.
You know, if I wanted something, you know, they gave it to me.
Because you said your mom gave you everything.
My
Right.
mom,
Yeah.
and my dad, my stepfather
Yeah.
gave me everything.
Right.
So I didn't have to, you know, really want for anything. My mother was a businesswoman. So once she married, she had several different companies and things. So, you know, she had the hustle thing going. So she knew how to get out
You
there and
said
make it
hustle
happen.
thing.
Right. So you learned a lot
Yeah,
there.
so
You had to make it work.
Yeah. So I just figured, okay, well, I'm going to hang in here because eventually
Yeah.
it's going to work out.
Right.
You know? But after, you know, it was just, like I said, it was just so hard.
And it was hard. And then you said, finally, I found out I was pregnant.
Yeah.
Gosh,
That was
that was
that
devastating.
was
wasn't it?
devastating to me because
Gosh.
you know, I mean, it just
And
was.
how old were you then?
I think I was a 23, 24, something.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Going through all the struggles, and then
Yeah.
pop, here come a baby.
So then you got, you know, you got to go into mommy mode.
Yes.
And of course, children don't come with a manual.
No, it doesn't.
No.
So-
and you didn't have enough money, you said, in
So-
here to support
So we
a growing family.
we really wasn't making enough money to support. And then finally, he started his career in law enforcement.
Yes.
So, that helped and relieved. And then I started a career in banking. And so but by that time we had so much stress
Right.
and for finances and, just life itself.
Right.
Till we didn't have the tools to make it work.
And so this, she said, my husband applied, he got accepted, the new career started, and that still didn't help the marriage.
No, it
Still
didn't
didn't
because
help
we
the
had grew
marriage.
apart.
Right.
By that time we had really just grew apart, and we really should have gotten counseling and got some help and some tools to help us work it out.
Well, did you ever ask your mom and your stepfather, how your marriages work and how did your marriage?
I didn't.
Work.
I would talk to my mom about it, but again, back in the day, back in those days, people really didn't, and maybe that was just my family,
Right.
but they just did not open up about their business.
Oh, yes.
Whatever was in the house, it stayed in the house.
And I think I mentioned too
Yeah.
in there, in being, like a girl, and being that difference between me and my stepsister, we, it was always said, girls, are to be seen and not heard.
Right.
So
Right.
you didn't.
You
So
didn't
I
talk
grew
a
up
lot.
being
Right.
quiet.
Right.
And then a lot of times you was told to stay there.
Yeah.
Just
Right.
stay in the marriage.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't leave. You don't tell everybody your business.
Right.
You just deal with it.
And see, that was my stepfather's thing because he went down that little checklist as we were talking about. And so he said, okay, he's working, he's got
Yeah.
a job, he's not beating on you, he's not cheating on
Right.
you. You can work
Stay
it
with
out.
it. You can handle
You can
that.
work it out. And I could have with the right tools.
Right.
Right.
Were
But-
y'all Christians then? You and your husband? Were y'all?
We were church goers.
Okay.
As a kid.
There you go. You was brought up.
We both were brought
In
up
the
in the
church,
church.
right,
And we believed in God, but we did not ask God for his help. We didn't ask any guidance in there
Right.
for a pastor or anything.
Right.
And so, again,
You
without
just going
the
to
plan-
church,
Yeah.
acting normal. Everything was okay in front of all the people.
Yeah, which a lot of people
We do that today.
People come to
Yes,
church
that's
because
true.
your family comes to
Yeah.
church and you come. And so you never really get into the soul of what that person is going through, what they really need, and how you can really help them.
That's right. I used to do that too. Cuss them out on the way to church. Get your,
Yeah.
it was all hard,
Yeah.
But you also said here, you said, we would often recite, as long as we got each other, everything would be all right. So that went down the drain too?
Y'all did that
did.
together or
Uh-huh.
y'all said
Yeah.
that together? With the,
We would say that.
Yeah.
And again, when they're calling, the light's gonna be cut off, and you haven't paid the car note, and those kind of things, and you robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Paul.
It's
Been
just
there.
like eventually,
Right.
if somebody doesn't throw you a raft, you just sink. And I said that basically we didn't have the tools
Right.
to be successful, and we didn't reach out and get the tools and get the help that we needed.
Because
we
you
could have
was
made it.
embarrassed. You said, I believe we both was too embarrassed
Yeah,
to ask for help. You
to
mentioned
ask
that a
for
while
that.
ago. And you didn't want anyone to know we were struggling to make it work financially.
Yeah. Because a lot of people,
Yeah.
they saw us getting married and they were happy for
Right.
us and wanted us to be successful. After the kids came, they're still saying, oh, you guys.
Y'all make a good couple.
Exactly. So, you get all of that and you think, okay, we can make it. We can do this.
And y'all really tried, look like.
Yeah.
You tried.
We really was trying.
But it just didn't work out. And you said
Yeah.
by this time you had the other child. And then you said pride was present too because the haters who believed we were too young to get married and wanted us to fail, we were also watching. They was watching you. They wanted you to fail.
yeah.
A lot of them
Yeah.
did. And that is so sad
Yeah.
because they actually wanted you to fail. And then you wasn't going to tell anybody.
Yeah.
You didn't want nobody to know that.
You didn't really want anybody to
No,
really know
I
your
wouldn't either,
business
because
like
you
that.
got those haters that saying, see, I told them they shouldn't have married.
She shouldn't have got
And
married.
everything. Then
Yeah,
you had
she-
those that probably wanted him too, and then you probably had those that was jealous. So they was excited for you all. I can understand that, why
Yeah.
you wouldn't want nobody to know and everything.
Right.
But you said here, we continue on like hamsters on wheels between my 9 to 5 at the bank and his 11 to 7 in the morning. Y'all was hi bye. So you really didn't spend any time together at all.
No, you
Yeah.
didn't.
See, once it got to that point,
Yes.
he was on one schedule, I was on
Yes.
another. And like I said, we were just two ships in the night.
That little hamster just
And
going.
we were just going. And then finally, it's just like, okay,
It's not
enough
gonna
of this.
work.
This is not, let's.
Okay, who
try to
said it
get-
first?
I did. I mean, I did because I wanted it, because I didn't want that kind of lifestyle. I didn't want to live in all that stress. I didn't want to
Yes.
be in lack. I wanted what I wanted, and
And
he
he-
was still willing to try.
Right. Most of the time, they will try.
He
They
was
want
still willing to try, but I
Right.
was like, this ain't
It's
working.
not working.
No.
So this is 16 years though.
Yeah.
So now he says here, okay, with this time strain on our marriage, I was struggling finances, 2 kids and a dog. Y'all had a dog.
Yeah.
So you still had a dog there.
We had the family. We had the perfect little family.
The perfect little family in the
I go
perfect
for a
little
baby.
town. Did y'all have a white fence?
No, we didn't have a white fence.
And then you said we started fighting more than loving each other. We eventually ended the marriage.
Yeah.
So now, how did you feel? I mean, we heard about the 7.5
Yeah.
on the other show, but how did you feel? How long did you give yourself?
I felt really bad. I felt at a low point because I felt like I had let my family down.
Yes.
Because one of the things that I believe that God created marriage. He created the marriage to have a purpose.
Right.
And I believe that our marriage was for our family.
Okay.
And so I thought that I had failed God.
Yeah.
I had failed my family. And I failed my friends.
And then you
because
got to
they
go out in the
wanted-
community now.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they wanted me to be
Yes.
successful.
Yes.
And they had so much high hopes for me. And I just felt like I let them down.
But at the same time, did you feel free?
I did. At the same time,
you felt that
sounds
freedom.
kind of,
I know it sounds funny, but
oxymoron, but yeah,
Yes.
because now I don't have that struggle.
struggle. You
All I
just
have
have
to
your
just
kids.
worry about is taking care of my
What
kids.
did you?
and
Who kept
myself.
the dog?
He did.
Okay.
He did.
Somebody had to get the dog. Okay.
He got the dog.
Okay, so did y'all, after the divorce, what period, how long was it? Did y'all still, he came and visit, and did y'all
Well,
do
we
that?
had joint custody with the kids.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So we did that. And of course, by this time, we'd been married, 15, 16 years.
Mm-hmm.
He was an intricate part in my family.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever anything was going on,
He was there.
somebody was calling him, letting him know. So he
Right.
was still always there.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
even though we weren't
So y'all were
technically
still in
together.
the same community.
Yeah,
Y'all
we were still
there.
in the same community.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like the family was going, regardless
Yeah, because
of
they
what's
were
going
still
on.
connected with him. And I
Right.
would say, well, y'all really probably shouldn't do that. I mean, we're not
Because
together
what if you
anymore.
was dating someone else? I'm just saying you didn't want them to still have him there, and then you ended up dating, or he started
Well,
dating.
we both did date,
Okay.
but it never went anywhere.
Because y'all love was so strong.
Yeah,
and you didn't even know it.
he never really took it to the next level. And I really, because of what had happened for me the first time, I really didn't want to marry again.
Okay, so
Right.
you just said I'm gonna take care of my kids.
Yeah,
And you mentioned that in there. You said that left me walking into another new chapter of life.
Yeah.
Okay, a single mother with 2 children.
Mm-hmm.
You went single, married. Now you're single again, but
Right.
you have 2
But
children.
I got kids now.
Right.
So that's a whole nother
That's
thing.
a whole discovery
Right.
So,
zone again.
yeah. So then I got to find my new normal.
Right. You open up a whole new chapter
yeah,
now.
I got to find a new normal.
Wow.
How do I take care of these kids? How do I live?
Right.
How do I be single?
Because now
I'm
by
still
myself.
young. I'm still young now.
Yeah, by
You know?
myself with 2 children, and now I got the ball part. Was
Yeah.
he paying child support or anything, or just helping out?
Yeah, helping
Just
out, helping out.
Okay, because there was a boy and a girl, so I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure he wanted to be in their life
Yeah.
at that time, you know,
Yeah.
and everything. So why is this happening to me? Why couldn't I stay committed to my marriage and relationship? I'm a good person. I go to church and I pay my tithe and I treat people right.
Yeah.
These are questions that you was asking yourself, asking God and yourself, and,
Yeah.
and you know Satan in the back saying, yeah, now look who you are. Look
Yeah.
what done happened. You know, you were the
Right.
community person. You had this June bride. So you asking all of these questions. Were you angry at God or what?
I don't think I was angry at God. I just think that I had missed the boat
Okay.
and I couldn't understand. I was doing everything that I
Yes,
thought I was supposed to do. And then I thought, you know, like my stepfather would say, you know, I was going to marry the man and have the kids
Yeah.
and everything was going to be good.
Right.
Well, my life didn't look like that. So I'm like, what did I do? Where I did what y'all said do. You know,
Right.
and it still didn't work out.
And look at all these years I did this, you know.
Yeah.
This led me to start questioning God's presence in the midst of all of my mess. So you started seeking him more.
Yeah. So then that's where the seeking come in.
That's where the seeking started coming in. You start turning to him more. You said God was actually there waiting patiently for me.
He was there all the time.
all the time.
I
But
just
sometimes we
didn't-
don't feel like he's there all the time.
Open the door and, you
Wow.
know.
But
let
you
it
was
be.
only going to church. You wasn't off
Yeah.
into the relationship
Yeah, I
with him.
wasn't often, you know, I was in the choir.
Yeah.
I was on the usher board. I was doing all of those things that some people do. I
Right.
wouldn't say
The
all.
norm.
Some
Right.
people do.
Right.
Yes.
You know, religion.
Right.
But never really seeking the man or getting a relationship
Right.
with the Father.
right.
And so once that happened, I was able to start seeking him,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and as he started revealing himself to me and revealing me and myself and the things that I needed to work on, then that's when I began to grow.
Okay. So during this time, you started seeking God and turning your life around. So now you're not saying I'm a church goer. I'm really building a relationship with Christ now.
Right.
I need you in my life now, God. You're my husband now. You're the one that I have to lean and depend on.
Right.
Because I don't want to go back down this path again.
Right.
And he says that he will instruct you and direct you in the path that you should go. So you said here, God had me covered. He did reveal things to me about my past that I was letting myself to get taken off the correct path. These things was no longer serving me. Instead of taking accountability, I placed all the blame onto my ex-husband for my feeling of physical, familiar, and financial abandonment. So you had to blame him for something because you went through all of this. So you didn't blame God. You started blaming your ex-husband. So did that make you feel good?
Well, whenever something happens to us, we always look for somebody else to blame.
Because it started with Adam and Eve, right?
Yeah,
okay, so I got to
exactly.
blame somebody.
So I gotta, you know, it's not my fault. It's not me. So it's gotta be somebody.
Somebody got to be.
It's gotta be somebody.
But okay, you say it has to be somebody, but you wanted the divorce, right?
Right, because
Okay.
he didn't want the divorce.
Right.
I wanted the divorce because it wasn't working. And I'm
Right,
just
but
like,
I understand it. But then it turns around. So I said, "Oh, okay, I got a divorce. So let me go and blame him for the situation that I'm in." It's-
Yeah. Somebody got to take the blame
Somebody
in
gotta
here.
take
You
the
know?
blame.
somebody got to take the blame.
Somebody got to take the blame.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody got to. Now remember, you know, I'm 17, 18 years old, so
Okay. Right,
it's all about me. And mom and daddy has always made it about me.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
now he's not doing what mommy and daddy is doing, and
Right.
we're in lack. And you got me in a
I'm not
place
used
that
to this.
I'm not even used to this. So
Right.
what am I doing?
Right.
So
It's
why
like,
should I
okay.
stay in this situation when I don't have to?
That's really a good
That is.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's really
I see.
Mm-hmm.
I had a girlfriend, she's in heaven now, and she wanted a husband like her dad.
Say that. Say it.
And I think that's commendable.
That's it.
yeah.
But at age, and I think she was maybe 40, maybe 45, and I sat down and talked to her. And I said, okay, now let's just be realistic.
Right.
Right.
In order for you to have a husband like your dad, you're going to have to be your mom.
That's right.
Because when you
I like that, Kim. I like
when
that.
you are
That's good.
establishing a relationship,
Uh-huh.
that this is the part that sons and daughters don't
Right.
see. When they
Right.
get into marriage, they want that person to be like either mom or dad.
Right.
Right.
And I said, I was Stephen and Sebastian, I said, there's one link missing here. There's no intimacy with you and me.
Thank you.
So the relationship with your wife is not going to be the same that you have with me.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
you ain't. We don't do that.
That's
so
good.
you can't put that demand on her. And that's what happens.
Right.
So you have this daughter.
That's
He's got to
right.
be like my dad. He's got to be like your daddy. Well, your husband is going to expect things from you that maybe your dad did not expect
Right. That's a
from
good
you.
point. That's
and
a
you
good
get
point.
in there and you have those idea, that concept, and it don't work.
It don't
Right.
work.
It doesn't.
That's daddy's little girl, so you can't do no wrong.
Yeah,
but your husband
exactly.
say you can know my nerve,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then I'm not. No, I never got on my daddy's nerve. You know, no, my daddy gave me everything.
Because daddy gonna give me everything.
Oh, my
that was-
mama,
Daddy
and
creates
I
that.
came home. My mama
Daddy
was cooking.
creates
And my mama was
that.
doing my clothes. My mama was doing my clothes and cooking. Well, I'm not your mama.
Because that's that virtuous woman that they looking
Right.
at in the Bible.
And you're
Yeah.
thinking that
Exactly.
She
and then I
did
tell
all
my
of that.
sons, your wife is not going to do what I do. So that shouldn't even be, I let them know that shouldn't even
Right.
be your expectation. Because it's a mother-son relationship. But sometimes
Exactly.
that's not explained. And when you get in a
Exactly.
marriage,
Right.
that is the anticipation
Right.
that this person's going to be
Right.
like, I'm going to be treated that way.
Right.
I'm gonna be
You
treated
know,
You want all the good. You always
Yeah,
want all the
yeah.
good that you got from
You
dad
want
or
all the
mom.
good.
Right.
And
And
you
you
don't
might
wanna
have
accept
some of the attributes that your mom have, like the business part or something. But like they say, oh, well, you don't cook like my mama. No, because I'm not your mama.
Exactly.
You don't want to be your mom.
And don't want to be your mama, you know.
Right.
But you might want them to say, well, I like this part of what my mom like, like the business part.
Right.
You
Exactly.
might want somebody to
Right,
be able to
yeah,
take
yeah.
care of the business part.
Right.
Like, you explain that to them, but I don't want them to be me because they can't be you.
They can't
Yeah.
be.
Well, my
Because it's
mama
only
did
one of
this,
you.
well, my
It's only
daddy
one.
did this. Well, my mama did this.
Yeah.
Well, my dad. And I understand they do it, but
Yeah.
sometimes we just have to sit down and talk to our kids. so
We
they
have
can
to
make
talk
that
to 'em.
And make that distance
disconnect.
because
I think you sometimes-
see, like for him,
Yeah.
his mom was a stay-home mom.
Okay,
Right.
see, that's a,
So
yeah.
his mom had the house spotless clean.
Oh,
Right.
That's all
She
she
had the
did.
dinner.
Right.
She
Right.
had the breakfast, lunch, and
Yeah.
dinner.
Right. Right.
And she had desserts
Right.
with each meal.
Ooh, she was good.
So
She was
their
really
clothes
good.
was together. So
Right.
then he gets me, and it's like,
You're not my mama.
And sometimes they don't see the
Yeah.
children don't always see all the struggles
Yeah.
that the parents had to do to keep themselves together.
Exactly.
Right.
You don't
And
hear
that's
all
what
that.
I mean when I
No,
say
Not
they
all
don't.
the time. Sometimes
No.
you do, but not all
Right.
the time.
And that's what I mean when I say we didn't have the tools.
Right.
You saw your parents being together,
Right.
but you don't
Yes,
know how
really.
they paid the bills.
Yes.
You don't
Right.
know,
Right.
Yes.
what the budget was like. You don't know any of those things. And when you,
Right.
if you don't get that help, then you have to just figure it out.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah, you do.
So
And-
we were
You do.
we were like that hamster going around.
That's a
we
good
couldn't
analogy.
figure it out, and we didn't reach out for help.
And
Right.
actually, he wasn't really per se in your life, although you was married, because he was going to school and then he had his job. And I mean, and in between that, and then being I think you said he was a police officer.
Yeah, he worked for the
And-
sheriff's department.
And that's stressful in itself. You
So
know.
he was stressed with
Yeah.
his job,
Right.
stressed not having enough money to take care of us.
Uh-huh.
And so really, like I said, we kind of really just drifted apart.
Because you was bougie.
Yeah.
In a way, she was. She didn't know what it was.
Brother,
But that's what
I'm
it
trying to bring
was.
you home.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what they
Yeah.
say. Yeah. And so we just really grew apart.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And so after divorcing, I had to, do some tough love, some self-care.
Right.
See, okay, God, where did I miss it? You know what? So for me, the more I sought God,
That's what you said,
the more He revealed me to me.
Wow.
And the more he checked me, okay,
So you were looking in the
and
mirror.
then that's when he took me to the virtuous woman.
Right.
This is what I expect out of you as a wife. This is what you're supposed to be. This is what that starts to look like.
Right.
So I had to start modeling what the word says.
That's
Yeah.
good.
So
That's
then,
good. That's
I mean,
good.
you know, as
But
far
this is
as
after divorce.
yeah, this is, I mean, he didn't tell me that before, but then, of course, I wasn't seeking him either.
Right.
Right. That's,
You know, I
yeah.
wasn't seeking him. So
Because
my
wisdom
thing
cries in the
is,
street. She utters her
Right.
voice. We don't always listen to wisdom.
Exactly.
Proverbs says she always talk.
yeah. So for me, I wanted to, if I could put something down to not even singles, but even married people, when you get in trouble, seek out the help that you need.
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because God allowed that marriage to be put together, or to be joined together.
Yes.
So if God allowed it, then we have to do everything we can do to make it be
make it
successful.
work.
Right.
Because He don't want us to.
Right.
He doesn't
He
want
does.
us to fail.
He
He
does
loves His
it.
children.
He does.
And we
But if
learn
we don't-
sometimes from our mistakes.
Yeah,
too.
if we don't seek Him, we don't get the answer.
Right.
So when you got a divorce, when did you start college? I mean, did you do it in between or after?
I was in between because after we married, and then I stopped, of course, after pregnant.
Right.
And then after the second child, then I started taking classes
Oh, okay. Okay.
and going and going.
Oh,
So I,
And you still had the kids too, right?
Yeah.
You still going to
Yeah.
school and college with the children.
so see, I had the vision,
Right.
you know, for where I wanted to be. I just needed the tools to be able to
To
work it
work
to
it.
get.
To work it.
And I
Right,
knew
right.
that God wanted me to be married. I knew I was supposed to be a wife. So, but I didn't want what I had.
At that time.
You know, I didn't want that. So I was
But
like,
you're
no.
still young and that's
Yeah, you're
still
still
life out
young.
there.
Yeah, I
You're
was
still
like,
seeing the
okay, this
struggle
ain't
and
what
the
we
stress.
supposed to do. This ain't
This
it.
ain't working.
All right.
This not what we supposed to do.
But you said here, you said that's when I really sought after God.
Yeah.
And you know, God will take us through some things that make us
Look.
just look. Won't
Yeah.
He do it?
So-
I mean, you said that, and you said
Yeah.
the more He revealed Himself to me,
Yeah.
and during my time being single, I became obsessed with learning the my Father all over again. I found that God is a loving, gentle spirit and will not force Himself on me.
No, he won't.
So you really was getting to know Him.
Yeah.
You was really
Yeah.
turning to
I
Him.
just really
That
just
was
got into the
beautiful.
word, and I just allowed Him to heal me.
Yes.
And as He healed me, then I became the woman that I am now.
Because
you
He's
know.
not a God of force.
No. And so He was there, and that's what I mean. He was there all the time. He just wasn't going to force Himself on me.
Right.
He
No.
saw the things that I was, you know, because I should have been studying and working on being the Proverbs 31 woman or wife.
Right.
But I wasn't.
Right.
I was the spoiled brat. Like, okay, well, how come you don't have no money to pay this? Or how come you don't, you know, how come you don't have, you know?
You was questioning Him.
How
then.
come, why come?
Yeah,
how
why
come?
you? Why would you know? Because this ain't how I live. This ain't. This
So
is
He was
not
just
it.
wondering,
get
wait a minute,
it.
what's
Like,
going
okay,
on
now,
here?
all right, she don't cook, she don't clean.
He
she
starts,
don't- what
and
in the
you
world?
want all of this.
What have I got? What did I get myself into?
She need a nanny.
But I know that there are a lot of people out there that, gosh, that you've made some mistakes, you've done some
Yes.
things, but if I could offer anything, just seek some
Yeah.
godly
Yes.
counsel
Yes.
in your marriage,
Right.
for yourself, get you a life coach, get you a therapist, whatever you need, because it's there.
Yeah, it
you know,
is.
for us to be successful, because God don't want us to struggle.
But you
No, he
know,
doesn't.
black people do not, some let me put it, some black people
Yeah.
do not believe in counseling.
I know.
You know, they feel like, well, you know, we got God, we can work it out. But God also put in your mind where you're supposed to seek help if you need
Well, that's
help.
why he gives the counselors, the doctors,
Right.
and everybody the skill sets that they have to be
Right.
able to help you.
Right.
You know, he gives them that talent, that
Right.
gift to
Right.
be able to help you. And I think for a lot of, especially for us that, you know, are Christians, we go to church and we think we hear it over the pulpit and we got all we need.
Right.
No.
And sometimes
don't.
that's, you know, you don't have all you need.
No, you don't.
Which is if, you know, the studies now showing how many people are dealing with mental health issues,
Right.
and things from
Right.
different traumas and things that
Right.
happened to them in childhood or whatever.
Yes.
And when you get married and marry a person, all of that comes together.
Right.
And if you haven't dealt with that,
You're going
then
to
it
carry
becomes-
it into the marriage.
yeah, it
and
becomes
everything.
a problem.
That's right. And we don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And you said here, you said, he waited for my first move to be back into his presence. God had to point out my flaws to me. While my husband tried to point them out during our first marriage. You said, I couldn't receive it because we were already in turmoil.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I was a people pleaser. I just thought I liked helping people. So your husband was trying to point out some of this stuff, and Satan had you blinded.
Yeah,
And you
exactly.
couldn't see it. But when God showed you all your flaws, like you said, you started doing this and this,
Yeah.
then you thought about what your husband was trying
Yeah.
to tell you.
Wow.
I realized.
So how did you feel? He was right all the time.
Did a light bulb come on?
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like, okay, well,
He was right.
He was trying to tell me this stuff.
Yes.
Because some of the people that I had got involved with,
Uh-huh.
I'm just that person that I like to help and I'm caring.
Yes.
And,
Right.
they was just the wrong people
Right.
for me with. They was
Right.
just,
Right.
taking advantage.
And you didn't know it.
And he was just, no, you
You
shouldn't,
shouldn't do that.
you know.
And
And
you
I'm
was probably
thinking,
getting
like,
upset with him, huh?
Yeah.
And all this time you was
He
you
had
thought
your
you
best
was that.
interest at heart.
Yeah. And they was divorced, and he still had
Yeah,
her
he
best
still was, looking out for me.
interest. Right.
Then you said the Lord showed me that I was helping people to the point off of my detriment. And and then he showed me how to create a healthy boundary. So you had to say no.
No.
I
Wow.
had to
That was
learn
hard
that.
for you to say no, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Because you was always a yes person. And I bet those people that you started saying no to,
They looked at you.
ooh, they probably got real angry with you, right? Because I can go over here and she would do whatever I
Yeah.
want her to
Whatever
do.
she need, whatever I need, she gonna give it.
Right.
She ain't gonna ask.
Were these
no
some of those
questions.
same friends or what? Were they your friends in high school or what?
Some of them were. Some of them were people I had worked with.
Okay.
Or just people friends that I knew in the community.
And they knew that you was a giver.
Yeah.
They knew that you wouldn't say no. And he was
I'm
probably
always
trying to
gonna
help
try to
you to
help.
say no. But you said that was the hardest word for you to learn.
Yeah.
That little N-O. Why was it? That was
It's hard.
Is it hard to say
Yes,
No.
it is.
Well, when you are a person that
Nope.
likes to give and
Uh-huh.
like to see people happy,
That's
and you
right.
don't want to
I
see
was that
people
person.
suffering.
no? Yeah.
You think they're suffering because that's what they're
Yeah,
telling
that's
you.
what they, yeah.
Yeah, that's what they're telling you.
Uh-huh.
And so okay, whatever I can do to help them.
And,
Right.
and plus,
Because
you
I
don't-
think that's
and they
what
take
God wants me to
advantage.
do.
Yeah, you don't want them to say, oh, have that look on their face when you said no, like, so you just continually do things. And sometimes it's not even in your best interest.
Yeah.
And you still do
And you
it.
still
And I
do
do
it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then your husband telling you, okay, this you shouldn't be doing this. Although he's not your husband, I'm just trying to protect you. So
See, I didn't look at it like that.
Right.
I didn't see it. I was like,
You
you
thought he
trying
was-
to get all in my business.
But he
Yeah.
was doing that while y'all was married too, right?
Yeah,
He
he
was
did.
doing it while they was married,
Yeah.
trying to tell her that, and you didn't want
Yeah.
to hear
I
it.
didn't. I wasn't
Because
trying
we
to
don't
hear
want to hear it.
it. Yeah.
Because we are givers. And then, but were you one of those givers that when you would give, did you get mad at yourself for not saying no? So you was one that when you gave, you didn't say
I just give it from my heart.
heart.
Because
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
I
that's,
did.
I thought that's
Right.
what God wanted me to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh.
See, for me, I love hard.
Yeah.
I give hard. If you're my friend, you're my friend for
Right.
life.
Right.
And I think that that's just my personality. So when people say they're in need or they, I need to help them with something, I feel like that's God wanted me to do that. Well, not all the time. That's
No.
not all the time He's
No.
wanting you to do that.
Sometimes it's you.
So
Yeah.
what happened now? Did y'all start back dating again?
Yeah,
or-
we actually dated
So
again.
how long was it since the divorce that you all started back dating?
So we dated for about a year or year and a half, I think.
Wow.
And because my sister was in his ear, and
What was
he
she
was
telling him?
And she was, because she wanted us to be back together.
Oh, so she was edging it on.
Yeah,
huh?
she was edging it on, and he was trying and wanting to do it.
Okay.
And so, they would always, get things together. So, we started dating, and he wanted to, and I was still like, well, no, people don't do that. Once
What they don't do, they don't
Well,
date
they
after
don't go
divorce.
back.
or what?
Well, when you divorce, that's what that means
That's
to
it.
me.
You divorce.
That's it to me.
Right.
I mean, I'm like, okay, I guess we can be friends, but
no dating.
I don't know about all of this. And so he just kept on.
Uh-huh.
He'd come take me out to eat or, something. And then finally he was just like, okay, you haven't married anybody. I haven't married anybody. I really want my family back together. So, I mean, why can't we just trying to figure out how to work this out?
Wow.
Wow, he was like the person in Mahogany when she said, "I want my old man back."
Yeah.
He wanted his old woman back.
Yeah.
He wanted his
It's just
family
like,
back.
okay, I mean, can we just like try to work this out?
Can
And
we
I'm-
do it again? Now we're mature now.
Yeah.
Wow.
We've been through the struggles. We can make this thing work now.
Yeah.
So was it like 4 or 5 years in between there that y'all married again, or?
So we married again in 2012.
That was a good little distance, though.
when we married again.
yeah.
Wow.
That's
How
when we got
was?
we've been back. Yeah.
So,
So
did you
we
have
have
a
been
wedding?
divorced about 17, almost as long as
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
As long as y'all
as
was
long
married.
as we was married the first time we
Wow.
went apart.
That's what I thought because
17 years,
Yeah.
I think it is.
So you had
Wow.
a wedding and
We just kind of went to the preacher and said,
just got
okay, we're
married.
going to do this again.
was you a June bride again?
No, it was November.
So you have 2 wedding dates.
So I actually have 2 wedding dates.
yes.
So how did
Yeah.
the children react to you all?
They was kind of stunned and taken aback because they were like, okay, what are y'all doing? Because, now they're in their 30s. They grown.
They say, Mama,
They grown. They like, what y'all doing?
y'all nasty.
Like, really, what's
nasty.
going
I know,
on?
Mama,
But,
that nasty.
I mean, it's all good.
I love your mama. That's what we doing.
Yeah.
I always loved her.
So that's the reason why you said that you could talk to the single because you've been single.
Mm-hmm.
You can also talk to the divorcees. And now you can talk to them about being married again. Now, in this book, it says here, love, life, and I know our hour's almost up, but through those struggles, and y'all end up getting married again, and you ended it with this here scripture too. You said, so as I end my story, I'll leave you another scripture along with a few more tips on where to start as a single person to get your life on the track uniquely designed for you so you can get back to or remain in balance. And that scripture is Matthew 6:33. But seek ye first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as
Right.
well. And you listed 6 lessons learned. And you said, number 1, from going through all of these trials and tribulations, from single, being married, then divorced, and being married again, she said in the back of her book, said, number 1, I learned to seek God first and to get to know him. So he brought you back to him. Okay? Ask for help. That's one of your things. You want us to definitely
Yeah,
ask for help.
ask for help.
Through counsel, life coach, or mentor, you need somebody to help you keep your marriage together. You said you also learned, do your work, your personal growth.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that, your personal growth?
What I mean by that is get rid of your baggage before you come into the marriage.
Wow.
Okay? Don't take that
do
baggage
your work.
into the
Don't
house.
take that baggage.
That's right.
Because all the other relationships that you've been with or people that you've been involved with, unpack all of that.
Don't
and
bring
get
it
rid
in.
of that. Don't bring that into that relationship.
So that you
come
need to
in
shut that.
100%.
That's right. And don't bring that in comparing.
Right, comparing
Right.
him to your father,
Your
uncles, or
there you
whoever
go.
the men in your life that
Right.
you
They didn't
value.
do me like that.
because they
That's
can't
good.
be them. They can only be who
Can't
they
be nobody
are.
else, right.
That is good.
That
Then
is
you
good.
said, tap into why you were created, your purpose.
Right.
We all have at least one gift.
Yeah.
What do you
God
mean?
has gifted us with so many gifts and talents Find out what that is.
Right.
Because that truly will make you happy ultimately.
Right.
Sometimes when we get married or get in a relationship
Right.
with someone, you want that person to make you happy.
Right.
They can't make you happy.
Thank you.
No, they
They
can't.
can't.
They sure
No.
can't.
It's totally impossible
No.
Impossible.
for them to
Yes,
do that.
it is.
Right.
So when you tap into yourself and you know why God created you, you start working in that vein.
Yes,
you start
ma'am.
moving in that direction,
right.
and you're happy all by yourself
Yeah.
Right.
And be who God created you to be.
because you're more than enough.
Yes.
You more. He's put so much in us.
Yes.
I mean, I say one gift, but if you start dissecting things and the things that God has given you that you can do in an excellent fashion
Yes.
with effortless,
Right.
then just start working in those things and
Yes.
doing it. And He
Yes.
will line and connect
Won't
you
He
with
do
the
it?
people that you need to be lined and
Exactly.
connected
That's
with.
so true.
Exactly.
And then you said,
good,
laugh and find the joy in all of life's ups and downs. How are we gonna find joy in ups and downs?
We have to, even in this pandemic that we're in.
Yes.
Look at the simple things
Yes.
and
That's so
smile
good.
about it.
Right.
You can smile about
That's right.
the sunshine and the beautiful sky
And what you have.
and what's around you and
Right.
who around you.
Right.
You know, I mean, I'm grateful that I still have both of my parents.
And that's
They're
a
in their
blessing.
80s.
Yes.
My father is 87. My mother is 85.
Wow.
I still have a few of my aunts and uncles, but those are the things that I hold on to in this
Right.
time. My children, my
Yes.
granddaughter, my
Yes.
oldest granddaughter is now finished high school and she's going to college. She's going to Paul Quinn.
Good.
So,
good.
I mean, those are the things that I find joy in.
Right.
And that's
And
good.
that keeps me happy
And it
going
keeps you from
every day.
complaining.
Yeah.
Be grateful for what you already have.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the last lesson learned, you said, get a plan, take action, and don't stop until your vision is your reality.
Right.
And that is so true.
So once you get your plan together or how you see your life or how you want your life to be, then you keep working on it until it happens.
Exactly.
Don't stop. We had a desire to have a good marriage and to grow old together. So we shouldn't have never stopped.
Right.
Right.
We should have gotten the help that we needed
Right.
and kept going and not have that break. But to God have it,
He
He
has
brought us back together
us
so
back
we can
together.
still complete that dream.
Right.
And people can see that you can divorce and still get back together.
you sure
Right.
can.
Only
That's
through
beautiful.
Christ that
Oh,
can happen.
yeah, only if He
through
does
Christ.
it.
It's here, because if you didn't have
Yeah.
him in at the beginning, you knew to bring him in at the end.
Right.
And so we know that marriage can survive with Christ in the midst of it.
Right.
Because you can talk and you can communicate with each other and find out what flaws that you all have and you can work it out
And can
together.
work on it.
Right.
You know, Miss Penny, I have really enjoyed this book. It was an eye opener. And for those that want to hear the intro of her next book that you're going to write, do you know when you're going to be able to, publish your book?
It
or?
will be sometime next year.
Next year. But just to get a little intro of it, her stories in love, life, and lesson learned. So this is awesome. I really
Thank you.
enjoyed the book and everything. So before we close, what would you tell our Facebook and YouTube audience from, just talk about something that you learned throughout all of this?
Well, again, I would just say to you is seek God. Seek Him in all that you do. And when you're setting up your goals and your plans, make sure that He's the center of that.
Yes.
And as you seek Him and ask Him why He created you, then He will let you know and start giving you and showing you.
Yes,
and
He
then
will.
things will line up. Does it mean that everything is going to go right? Does it
That's
mean
right.
that everything is going to go perfect for you? It's not. But you can do all things through Him because He's going to give you
Yes.
the strength to go
Yes.
through it.
Yes, He will.
So when you find Him, just hold on to Him and just keep asking, keep seeking, keep asking Him to show you, to give you the wisdom and the direction that you need. And He'll give it to you. And life will be so much easier.
Yes, it
Marriage
will.
will be so much easier.
Yes.
Right.
Your business will be so much easier.
Yes.
If you put your business under God.
That's it.
You know, seeking Him first, and
That is good.
then everything is added.
Everything else is fine.
And you still look as beautiful as Miss Penny over there.
Yes.
After being married to the same guy twice, that is unusual, but
Yeah.
we know God can do anything. So,
Yes.
do you all have anything you all would like to say before we close?
Oh, I enjoyed it. It
This
was
is one.
enjoyable.
And
Thank
maybe
you.
Linda go and get married after hearing how.
Amen.
Yay.
Amen.
All right,
And
Linda.
she is single, you guys, so, and everything. But we want to thank you again, Miss Penny. I like
Thank
calling
you.
Miss Penny. But
Miss
anyway,
Penny.
thank you for that. That was
You're
good
welcome.
advice.
You're welcome.
Very
It was
good
my
advice.
pleasure
Thank you.
That
to sit with you,
everybody
ladies.
need to hear that you
Yes.
can survive a marriage through Christ. And even if you do get a divorce, it doesn't stop.
No, it doesn't.
Right.
Don't stop living. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't survive through a divorce. Yes, you can. You can do anything with
can.
Christ. He's there for you. He's your new husband until you get your husband back. You know,
Right.
y'all were just soulmates, I think.
Yeah.
That was just y'all was your soulmate. So, you know, and everybody may not go back to their soulmate like Linda. But
Amen.
anyway, but she's happy, but she would love to be married.
Amen.
And marriage is honorable in God's sight.
Yes.
It is.
But everybody, you know, hey, one day you might not. But pray and ask God. And just don't throw out there and say, I just want a husband.
No, you don't.
Ask God. Tell him what kind of
Write
husband
the
you want.
vision down.
Write it down. and ask
Make it
God to
plain.
lead you and direct you and put that man or that woman in your life that you all can be one together. Because like we said, marriage, you two, you end up becoming one. So thank you, Miss Penny. I really enjoyed you.
Welcome.
Miss Penny.
And thank you for being our co-host on our other show as well.
Welcome.
You did an awesome job. I tell you, don't come around me because I'll put you to work.
Yes, yes, yes.
Kim always going out,
Amen.
and I thank Kim for introducing us to you. She's one of those that go out there just snatch.
Grab everybody.
We need you on the show. We need you on the show. And that's what the show is about. I never would have met you if Kim hadn't introduced me. And now the audience get a chance to meet you, and they're
Yes.
looking forward
To hear
to
that
your
story.
But if you want to tell how they can get in contact with you as well.
I'd love, I'm on the social media channels. So, you know, look me up on Facebook, the Instagram. If you want to email me, it's Penella Thompson at yahoo.com. If you'd like to receive a autographed copy of the book, Love Life Lessons Learned, the single edition, you can go to tinyurl.com/LL Penny Thompson. And I believe that you're going to have it
and
on
we'll
your
have
screen
that on the
they
bottom
can
of the
see
screen,
that.
so you all can get
So
in
can
touch
they
with,
ask you
her.
questions?
Yes,
They can ask
yes,
you
they can.
questions
You
about
can ask me
marriage
questions, and I would
fee?
like to say to your viewers, anyone that purchased a book from me, I will have a little free tip for them. So if you go on and purchase a book for your listening audience, I will give away something special for them that they will enjoy.
Amen.
All right. Thank you once again for being on the show. You have truly been a blessing. And we look forward to your book coming out. And we're
Yes,
going to have
ma'am.
you back.
Yes.
Okay.
So that you can come in and talk about your book so we can help get that book out there. So let us know when you get ready and we'll try to get you on the show and, you know, market
Okay.
your book as well. Because we
Thank
want
you.
to do that. We
Amen.
want you to be known all over the world. It's all over the world, and we thank you. And again, if you would love to be on the Top of the Show with Elma, Linda, and Kimberly, please go to elmatalkshow.com. We would love for you to be on the show. May God bless you until we see you